Hi, and welcome or welcome back to the Future of SaaS Festival. We hope you're enjoying the presentation so far. Just a quick reminder, if you're not already a member of our Slack community, follow the link at the top of the event website to network and join the discussion.
Hi everyone, my name is Nicolas Gaethje. I'm the head of growth here at TimeShift. I'm really happy to be here today, and we're going to discuss about how sales teams can work with other departments to drive growth. And I know that the title is quite long, but I can assure you that we're going to be discussing some very practical tips on how we can actually enable our sales teams to go beyond the job description, outside the box, and actually proactively help other teams. In this case, we'll be focusing more on product and marketing teams to drive growth, right? We won't be discussing about customer success or customer support, although sales can help them a lot and vice versa. So I just want to give a huge thanks to the whole Future of SaaS team. I'm very happy with the invite, very happy to be here and to have the opportunity to share my thoughts and discuss about how sales teams can help other departments to drive growth. I really need to work on the title. All right, so to kick off things, I'll just do a small, quick introduction about myself and about TimeShift. So as I mentioned, my name is Nicolas Gaethje. I'm the head of growth at TimeShift. As you can see, we do have some specific job positions or names for the positions on TimeShift. We like to mix and actually blend our personal characteristics with our professional ones. So here I'm trying to climb the growth charts. As I love music, we try to blend what I do regards growth and music in the same title. So this is what we created. And well, over the past 10 years, I have been helping multiple tech companies, mostly in Latin America, unicorns in Latin America, with their growth strategies. And my background comes strongly from sales and partnerships. And over the past 5 years, I've been managing teams and sales partnerships and lead generation strategies for those companies. And most recently, I have been with TimeShift, and we are a workforce management for the modern age that it's made exclusively for Zendesk. So basically, we help Zendesk customers to have a better visibility, real-time monitoring, help them schedule their agents, shifts, and also forecast future workload. So we are an omni-channel, easy-to-use solution made exclusively for Zendesk. And my main position, my main role at TimeShift as a head of growth or climbing the growth charts, it's actually to help the company see other ways to drive revenue. So I am overseeing the sales, lead generation, and partnerships team. And yeah, we're trying to be very creative on how we can drive growth. And if you need to discuss with me, I'm very open to conversations. Feel free to reach out to my email or my LinkedIn, as you can see below. All right, and well, going straight to the point regarding our subject for today. So I'd love to share some tips. And as I said, these are practical tips on how sales teams can enable growth, going beyond the job description. Even though the title is long, I wanted to be very practical here. And over those 10 years in the tech industry, working with sales, partnerships, and marketing and product, of course, you kind of make a lot of mistakes, right? And I have done a lot of mistakes over those 10 years. And I felt like I learned a lot from this process, mostly regarding how can I see the sales team differently. I used to see the sales team as one big block, an autonomous area inside the company, very independent, that would go about their days doing their stuff. But actually, it took me a while to actually learn how to see the sales teams differently and how to understand that the sales team can actually proactively help other teams like product and marketing to enable growth. So the tips that I'm going to show you today are very related to my own experience and the mistakes and things that I learned over those 10 years. So let's dive right into the first one. And then that's exactly what I mentioned before. This is usually how we see the sales team or the sales ecosystem, as I like to call it. We know that we have a big sales team, and this could either be, if you look at the buyer's journey, an online sales team, which is basically a self-service team, or an inside sales team, as we're all used to work with that kind of methodology, field sales or local sales. So you have a big sales team regardless of what kind of sales methodology you apply. And then we have other satellites of maybe smaller from the sales perspective, right? That are part of this ecosystem, like marketing, customer success teams, sales operations teams that are very important in this landscape. The SDR, my pre-sales teams that could be divided into SDRs, BDRs, LDRs, any kind of different mix-up you have here. And of course, my customer support team. And then this is basically the ecosystem that we usually see, right? And there's nothing wrong with it. I do feel like sales still have a huge link and a great connection with all these different areas, but it all just seems very simple, right? And we see that most of these areas are supporting sales in a way. So marketing is helping us with lead generation. Then we have customer success, of course, to take care of the post-sales, churn retention, expansion, and contraction. Sales operations, a satellite team to provide intelligence to the whole funnel, from marketing to post-sales. And of course, we have the SDRs, generating the opportunities, and the customer support to help with the post-sales and provide the best customer experience possible, right? But in my opinion, and I feel like the sales team should actually be seen as the tip of your strategy. Hold your breath here. I'm not saying that the sales team should be driving the strategy, but the sales team has a very unique position in the company, and we're going to discuss more about that, where it can actually be so much, it actually can help the other team so much more than it already does. And we're going to discuss why in a second. So if we think of the strategy of our company as an arrow or a spear, whatever works for you, we should have the sales team at the tip of the spear. And once again, that doesn't mean that the sales team are calling the shots. And it's actually quite the opposite. It really puts the sales team on the spot, because if the sales team is driving the strategy, it should be supporting the other areas. And this is in terms of growth, right? It should be supporting marketing and product and customer success with enough information for this strategy to succeed. So in any sense, it means that the sales team should be, calling the shots. Actually, once again, it's quite the opposite. So it gives more responsibility to the sales team, and we're going to get into that in a second. So when we look on how, in my opinion, the sales team should work with the other areas, it's something similar to this. So if we take that arrow and make it a little bit more complex, we still have the sales team at the top, but the main responsibility of the sales team here, from the strategy standpoint, from a growth strategy standpoint, is actually to support product and marketing. And this is something that it took me a while to quite understand the full potential of turning my sales team into a feedback machine. And this is what the sales team is in the end. And if it's well done, if you can drive that kind of mentality into your sales team, into your strategy, you see how powerful it is to have a feedback machine in your company. And the sales team is that. The main idea behind this is that the sales team should actually be supporting product and marketing with mostly feedback. There are other ways they can work together, of course, and they can elaborate, collaborate, and communicate, but mostly product and marketing should be requesting from sales to be this amazing feedback machine. Not only for the product team regarding, from the most basics, product feedbacks, use cases, from bugs to report, from features to improve, but then on the other side with marketing to market trends, competitor landscape. So the sales team sends a very unique position in the company, and because the sales team is in contact with prospects, partner, customers, so basically your whole industry, right? And we're going to go into that in a second. Don't want to get ahead of myself. So taking that into consideration, that sales should be a feedback machine, providing the right amount of feedback and as accurate as possible, and as trusty as possible to product and marketing. And we understand why is that so, right? And as I mentioned, the sales team, if we look at the job description, the sales team mostly, and this is more common with smaller startups, at least from mid-size to small size, right? Because the sales team will be in contact with the prospects, of course, also with the customers most of the times. And while we still don't have a huge customer success or a huge customer support team, I'm sure that in many of the companies here, the sales team will still be dealing with customers, even if it's to make an upgrade, to work with expansion, right? And then they will be coming and going from prospects to sales, and then sales will also be in contact with customers and exchanging a lot of information with all these different personas. And then, of course, being in touch with partners, being for acquiring new partners, recruiting new partners, but also to working with partners to drive more deals and generate more leads. Once again, as the company is growing, the sales team would be probably handling most of the external relationship with all these personas, and of course with competitors. And then in this case, they won't be exactly in direct touch with the competitors, although it's possible to do that, ghosting, right? But they will be hearing what the market has to say regarding the competitors. And all of this information that the sales team gather from being in contact with all those different personas, most of the times, in my experience, we lose it because we are actually we are used to seeing the sales team once again as that standalone area, while it's gathering a lot of important information, a lot of market feedback that could be shared with product and marketing to make my strategy, my growth strategy, even stronger. Now, when we look on how, like we saw why the sales team is this feedback machine, well, he's in constant contact with all the main personas. And then when we go into how, it's basically because the sales team is gathering even unintentionally. Sometimes the sales team is not even aware they're collecting this kind of information, like the market trends for your industry. What are the new features that are being launched? The new frameworks that your clients and prospects are using, and how that impacts with your current solution, the current integration with other players that are actually making a difference in your industry, the brand awareness, and how that, how the brand awareness not only of your company but of the competitors is also being shown in the market. This is a lot of juicy information that I know that your marketing and product team would love to know. And also, it's a very good radar of your competitors, regarding pricing analysis, because they will be in contact with prospects and customers and partners that also work with your competitors. And you'll get to know the good, the bad, and the ugly regarding the industry and how is that changing over time, new partnerships that are actually working and what's not working, the marketing strategy that they're using, brand awareness, once again, it's also here because I also want to take a look at the brand awareness of the other brands, right? On the other side of things, they can also receive a lot of product feedback. What are the most valuable features? What is lacking? Features that actually sell, that help us close deals, and features that actually help us win on churn, and how to acquire new beta testers. This is something also very important for the product team. And these are all different things that the sales team go through every day on a day-to-day routine, but most of the times they're not even aware of that. And there are ways we can actually implement the right processes and workflows in place to start documenting that kind of stuff and actually making the most of this very valuable knowledge. And last but not least, why we win and why we lose. And this seems basic to have the why we win and the why we lost deals or leads in our pipeline, but I still see a lot of companies struggling with using that the right way. How detailed can I be with a why win and why lose, and how can I use that information later? Once again, going back to my growth strategy with product and marketing to make the most out of this knowledge. So what is actually leaving the funnel, being to win or to be lost? Once again, the good and the bad, and why we're losing, and what are the action plans. And this is where most of the companies fail. They actually track somehow why they win and why they lose, but they fail on building the action plans. So this is basically why I mean that the sales team can be your ultimate feedback machine. And all that kind of information from market trends to competitor analysis, product feedback, and why we win or lose, It's a lot of valuable information that the sales team should be sharing with the other teams. And this is where the sales team have to go beyond the job description. And when we should do that, because we understood why the sales team has the power to help the other areas beyond their job description, then we understood how, because what kind of information they hold, and now when. So the thing that I learned over those years is that I love having rituals, right? So having recurring meetings with a purpose, and this could be very quick meetings, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. I like on a weekly basis with all the stakeholders for the growth strategy. So having marketing, sales, and product leadership to actually just discuss the previously discussed topics. So let's talk about feedback today. Let's actually document all that information and process the communication. So every time we sit down to talk about feedback and hear the feedback from the sales team, we do have an action plan in place and we can compare the knowledge we already have with the new things that we are learning. And this is really up to you if a weekly meeting is too much or if monthly meeting suits you best. As long as you have meetings that are recurring meetings where you focus only on talking about feedback from the sales team regarding these topics that we discussed. These are not meetings that me and my team we discuss about the pipeline or the connection between marketing sales is marketing. No, this is the solo purpose is feedback. And having the right processes and communication in place is actually a huge help to make sure that we're not losing that knowledge. We're not having those meetings and then forgetting everything that we just discussed. So have a process in place to give and receive feedbacks in a good way. This is very important. And then we can make the meeting very productive on how what is the right way to give a feedback of a customer, of a lead, or of a partner, and what we can do with that information, how we can storage that information, and how we can process that information. And so this can be quite challenging at times. So having the right process and communication in place makes those meetings seem very productive. And well, what are the tools that I think they work the best with those situations? Of course, the Slack is a huge thing and it's a very powerful tool that we can use for many different things. And I feel like having, once again, a dedicated Slack channel only for feedback. And this is something that could be filled with a lot of different feedbacks over the weeks or months prior to the meeting. And this could be used as the content that should be discussed during the meeting. So just so that everyone is already aware of what happened in terms of feedback in the previous week before the meeting. And then we can arrive to the meeting already knowing at least the content that we're going to discuss about. And there is a new tool that I really love that is called Miro. If you don't know about Miro, be sure to check it out. But it's an amazing tool to enable cross-department collaboration. And having a feedback board can be game-changing, where we can actually compile all the feedbacks in different categories. Everyone can collaborate at the same time in a very easy to use way. And then we usually try to use the Slack for communication and then the Miro for the action plans and to storage the information regarding those feedbacks and what we are learning in terms of marketing trends, competitor analysis, and etc. And other ideas that could actually help you and your sales team to leave the status quo is to have shared OKRs with these other areas. And this is something that really helped me in the past. So I always try to have my SDR, my pre-sales team, to have a shared OKR with my marketing team. So they are looking to the same objective and key results, like for example, number of opportunities generated in a given quarter, or improve the conversion rate from leads to opportunity in X%, or or increasing our market industry share. So these are the kinds of things that really help both of the teams look at the same goal, even though we use different metrics, of course. How I'm going to measure my SDR team's performance and my markets team performance is completely different for their own specific goals and commission. That's not here, but we usually try to use the same OKRs. And that actually helps not only mostly here the sales team to understand that the feedback they're going to share, the SDR and the marketing team, is actually it's going to be the enabler for the OKRs to happen, because we won't be increasing the number of opportunities or the conversion rate or our industry market share without the feedback from the sales team. And when it comes to product, we can make the same exercise to have shared OKRs. And this usually could be aimed to X number of customer interviews that would actually will promote a collaboration between sales and product beyond the job description to help them together interview a customer and trying to understand how the customer perceives the product. And the sales is a great bridge to find the right customer for that. Accelerate the feature adoption. And if we have a very good communication between sales and product, and there is a new feature that's being launched, why not work with sales to accelerate the adoption of this feature and have a common OKR to sell X number of customers that are actually with this feature on their plans, and deliver a detailed competitor analysis. And this has a lot of value for the product team. And this is definitely something that sales can, once again, help with feedback and knowledge and build this detailed competitor analysis for the product, and also for the sales team to be more prepared to deal with those situations in the future. And last but not least, the sales team need to be sure that their content, their data, is actually reliable, right? And we know how hard it is to work with different CRMs. And now we have a lot of different sales solutions, from pre-sales to outbound to inbound to sales automation, our CRM, marketing automation solutions, right? But we need to be sure that the data that we have on the sales team is reliable, because if we're using the feedback, the data that the sales team collects, the knowledge at the tip of my strategy spear, I have to be sure that this data is reliable. And one of the best ways of doing that, it's actually to follow this pyramid. This is actually a sales ops pyramid that helps me understand if I'm actually going through the right steps to get to make sure that my data is reliable. So first of all, work with data and processes, making sure that the data they already have, it's qualified, it's reliable to the least, and I have the right processes in place to make sure that for the future data, it's going to be already reliable. So I'm fixing it on the enters, right? So I have the right processes with the sales and pre-sales team. They are fulfilling the fields on the CRM with the right information at the right time. So I can make sure that I can trust the raw data. And then we get to the next level once that is done, that is providing visibility. So creating the first dashboards and KPIs. And then we move for the insights. Okay, what are the action plans that we're going to create now that we have all this amazing visibility? And the last part of the puzzle is forecasting. Now that I have the insights, how can I forecast the future? And when the sales team started forecasting how many sales or revenue they're going to bring to the company, once again, this is an important feedback for product marketing and basically all the other areas of how much we expect the company to grow. And the main tools that I feel like should be used to actually power that process to make the data reliable, we'll be relying mostly on CRMs. So having a right CRM in place would help you to reach that data and make sure that you have the right kind of information. And also making sure that the sales team understands, and the sales leadership, that this information is powerful. It's a delicate situation. So it's important to make sure that the data is right, because big decisions will be made based on that. And so these are the tools that I have worked with in the past, and I love working with them still. And when we look once again at the pyramid, so we're for data and processes, having the right CRMs really help, like Pipedrive, HubSpot, and Salesforce. For visibility, usually CRM helps, but light BI solutions or Excel could be a very good solution to help you, get some extra visibility. I really love Dear Lucy and Geckoboard for that. And as for forecast and insights, we really should go to more more complete BI solutions like Tableau and Power BI. So thank you so much, guys, for your time today. I hope this was helpful. And well, let me know if you have any other questions, and I'm really here to help. Once again, a big thanks to the Future of SaaS team, and I would love to hear your questions.